What did the drug cartels expect? Did they think the United States of America would just sit by and watch the cartels send a drug boat into the U.S. intended to kill millions of Americans? Who did they think they were dealing with? The Biden administration? Did the cartels think they could just float through international waters toward the U.S. border and unload their cargo at a U.S. port and pocket their millions so that they could continue to fund their narco-terrorism and dig more drug tunnels into the U.S.? Did they think Biden was still in charge? Or did they expect to see Gavin Newsom waving the flag of welcome at the port when they arrived? Maybe so, but that's not what they got. Now, in August, President Trump authorized a military operation against the cartels, and we saw this week that included a U.S. Navy strike against a drug boat sent by Venezuela. Yes, the communist nation of Venezuela, led by the self-described socialist Nicolas Maduro, who's not only president of Venezuela, but also the leader of Cartel de los Soles, designated by the U.S. as a foreign terrorist organization. Cartel de los Soles is known to support the Sinaloa and Tren de Aragua cartels, all of them designated as foreign terrorist organizations, and President Trump disclosed on Truth Social this week that Maduro is the leader of Tren de Aragua. The drug boat that was blown up was a Tren de Aragua drug boat. 11 members of the cartel were killed. And all I can say to that is, when the president of Venezuela is not only leader of the nation, but leader of the drug cartels, and is a communist trying to import violence and death to the United States, is Venezuela a nation anymore? There is a movement among the communist-supporting nations to make a one-world government. Their movement doesn't respect borders. They want one world without borders, but their ideology is cynical. From start to finish, it's cynical. They want to bring down the United States, Israel, and all of our allies who have a high standard of living based on our shared values. Now, one of those values is to enforce the criminal laws rather than allowing the criminals to roam free. Too much of that in what happens. Gaza, that's what. The people of Gaza literally elected Hamas as their government. That's how twisted their values became. They fell to their knees in the face of evil rather than fighting evil. That's what happened to Gaza right after Israel left Gaza in 2005, because the crying liberals were crying out for liberation. And so Israel was like, you want to govern yourselves? No problem, we'll leave. And Israel left behind a moral vacuum that became filled with an ideology of violence, hate, and nihilism, singularly focused on destroying Israel. Now, what Israel is doing now in Gaza is self-defense. They were forced back in after the massacre on October 7th. But it's not just Israel that's become a front line. In Venezuela, the people are so bereft of values that when faced with criminal drug cartels, they didn't fight the cartels. They elected them as the government, not even trying to build a better future because they don't see a future. That much is clear. We shouldn't back down in the face of people who don't even see a future, obviously. When our opponents give up, that's when we seize opportunities. The communists and the cartels are a threat to our national security. A group of patriots in the U.S. who represent exiles who fled the Castro regime in Cuba, they're saying that President Trump's crackdown on the cartels is a godsend to the Venezuelan people. And I hope the Venezuelans receive the intervention in the right way. The narco-terrorists from Tren de Aragua reveled in death during their time on the earth. As I mentioned, their ideology isn't about building a better future, or any future. Echo that sentiment in regard to Hamas. Now, recently, our U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, revoked the visas of Palestinian officials who were scheduled to participate in the United Nations General Assembly session, which starts this month, and is hosted in New York City. The Palestinians are upset because the UN has consistently platformed their grievances and placed them on the same stage as real nations, which I believe was always a mistake. Palestine isn't recognized as a nation at the UN. Some of the liberal-leaning nations in the West, such as France, the UK, Australia, and Canada, have declared recently that they will recognize Palestine as a state in the year 2026. Although Palestine is claiming territory that is already claimed by the State of Israel. Now, many UN member states already recognize Palestine as a state, much to their shame. Now, when the leftists send illegal aliens to the United States to bring drugs and crime, it's the same strategy the leftists are using against Israel. Israel gives us a potential picture of our future, of what could happen when the leftist, communist-aligned ideology seeks to browbeat Israel and try to steal the land. And the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is a crisis of their own making because the values of the Palestinians lead to death, not life. We are all a product of our values. That's a hard truth, but it's also good news because if we repent, and to repent just means to change our minds, we can live a good life. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.